When you think of the concept of darkness or eternal black, most people think of nothingness, like there's nothing there. But really, we have no idea what nothingness is like. Darkness is the closest thing to it. But really, all darkness is the absence of light. In Genesis 1:1, we were told that God created the heavens and the earth, that they were formless and empty, and darkness was over the surface of the deep, and that the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. We get a picture of a lightless creation, and as the story goes on, God says, "Let there be light." And as God pours more of himself into this creation of his, things become real. Land, fish, birds. But if you go back to the beginning, before God started to create, there was just darkness. So many times we hear good and evil equated with light and darkness. I really feel like this is where that comes from. When you look at the story of Adam and Eve, they didn't choose to eat from the forbidden tree just to find out that the serpent's reward wasn't as good as God's promise. No, they actually found out that the serpent had deceived them. There was nothing there. His promise was empty. It was appealing on the outside, but nothing on the inside. Now, the reason there was a punishment wasn't just because they went to plan B when they weren't satisfied with God's plan A. No. More than that, punishment was given because God warned Adam that when you eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you will surely die. You have to understand that as the first man ever created, Adam's concept of death was far different than ours. To Adam, death was far worse than just darkness, because he was just now experiencing darkness for the first time. To him, death meant nothing in every sense of the word. Everything he had just been given would be stripped away. See, Adam and Eve had a thorough understanding that without God, they were nothing. Not darkness, nothing. So, for them to eat from the tree, understanding that it would result in death, meant that they chose nothing over God. When you think of it, there really is no greater offense than that. Choosing nothing over the creator of everything. Now, God promised that death was the just punishment for eating from the tree. But in order to postpone this judgment, he brought about things like a mortal life, the life that you and I know so well. A life of lies, deceit, pain, suffering, anguish, and a life that ultimately ends in death. And this is exactly what Jesus, fully man and fully God, prophesied that he would go through when he said in the Gospel of Matthew that he would be condemned to death, mocked, flogged, and crucified. Yet on the third day, he will rise, and in so doing, he will conquer, defeat, triumph over the punishment that humanity justly deserves. And this is the hope we have.